I don't like it. I'm going to tell Jesus. Y'all know what it is?
But you know what?
On the
But you know
spray
what?
down side
The
of the
older
game.
you get, the older women who are also single, older women want men who have kids already. Who may have even been married and divorced. Women, that's, I mean, more and more women are thinking like that. And you know what you don't want, and you know what you do want at the same time. Yes.
Los Angeles media market and beyond. The survey also revealed that the vast majority of black
Y'all,
audiences are concerned about the lack of
this
black-owned
actually
media
is
and are
really
more
good.
likely to listen to talk radio that focuses on issues that impact the black community. For some reason, the other talk stations haven't quite figured that out. If you think about KFI, well, KFI only has like a 3% black listenership. 3%. So there's a good 97% out there to support a station like KBLA. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
To continue the conversation. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So what I'm gonna try to do
Okay, hold on a second, Keisha. Just let me ask Ronald exactly what's going on because it takes two to tango, and I need to hear his side of the story. So she's driving me insane, got stress heavy on my brain. She keeps playing without taking the pain. Sing if I stand fine every day and every night. Please give some advice so we can see the light. See the light. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I wanted to do a video today about relational blind spots as they relate to our childhood trauma. These blind spots come up in all kinds of relationships, romantic partnerships, friendships, family, even relationships with coworkers. And what do I mean by a relational blind spot is simply meaning that the way that we relate to people. When we grow up in abuse and when we grow up in childhood trauma, we grow up into adults who struggle with having some tunnel vision in the way that we perceive ourselves and the way that we perceive others. We don't see the whole picture. The most common one that I think of for trauma survivors, and I'm sure you guys will relate to this, is simply choosing bad partners simply because they express interest in us. It's almost like the concept of love bombing or something like that, that the tunnel vision is about not seeing the whole picture or who the whole person is because our inner child is desperate to be accepted or desperate to be in a relationship. And that sort of that inner child, those issues, they overdrive our built-in self-protection radar that got damaged in childhood. And we can't really that radar is there to really determine whether somebody is healthy for us or not. So we got to get that radar back online. And this video is going to be kind of a component of that. If you struggle with all that stuff, you can check out a video that I did about dating, sort of with having been raised in childhood trauma. And you can find the video either up here or up there. And I'm going to be getting into that very specific issue later in the video about choosing bad people. We also have other types of different blind spots that I'm also going to be covering as well. There are 3 of them in this video. If you're new to me or new to the channel, welcome. I'm Patrick Tian. I'm a licensed clinical therapist specializing in childhood trauma in the abusive family system. If you like this video, at the end you can hit some buttons on the screen you can't miss with any of the buttons. If you find that these videos are helpful to you in your recovery, you can support the work that goes into this channel over at my Patreon. And I don't have any third parties, like promotions or anything like that from other sort of companies on this channel, because I find it mucks things up for the viewer, and I don't do any merch or any of that jazz. So that being said, you can also check out my website and find childhood trauma therapy e-course work. If you're interested in doing that, there's a link to that in the little bubble up here. And you can also connect with me via my website. You can also connect with me via my Instagram, and you can also connect with me via TikTok. And I'll have all the links in the description below in this video. So here we go. I'm going to talk about 3 types of relational blind spots that childhood trauma survivors have. I see this a lot in my practice. I see this a lot in my own recovery. And I'm going to be going over the following items for each of those 3 that I'll be talking about. If you want to take some notes or prep your journal in some way, here are the 4 items that I'm going to get into. What the blind spot looks like. No pun intended. So it's a blind spot. How would you know? That's the first one. The second one, why it's not good for you. The third one is why you struggle with it, like getting into some family history ideas. And also the fourth one is how to work on that issue. So let's dive into it. The first one on the list, related to what I said earlier, is not fully recognizing toxicity in others as a blind spot. This one does not just apply to romantic partnerships. It can be bosses, friends, coworkers, even family, even strangers. Like the mailman or the person who cuts your hair. Before doing my childhood trauma work, I was somehow always the last person to know that a coworker was either really super sketchy or abusive to other people or something like that. Or even I was always the last to know in my friend circles that someone was sort of acting out. And when I'd find out, I'd be like baffled at that reality, meaning that it was a sign that I missed major things about people up front when other people would catch it. What this blind spot looks like, it looks like you're dating someone and at 5 months or even after the first year or something like that, like, oops, they have a sex addiction. Oops, they never have really fully broken up with their ex. Or oops, they have massive secrets. And I'm not blaming you, as these examples are being in a relationship with someone who's incredibly dishonest. But I have clients, when they're in that, I have them reflect back on how the relationship started. What were those dynamics about how the relationship started, to explore any misread flags that could have been prevalent to them, that because they were in their inner child at the time, they missed. So this is what this blind spot is about. Other examples, let's just say you have a difficult boss or a difficult coworker, but you struggle with knowing where the line is. About, is it really that toxic? Like, the boss can be awful or really off, but you never quite know if it's healthy unless someone says, like, oh my God, your boss sounds like a nightmare. And why can they see it so clearly up front when we can't? How can they make that judgment on unhealthy behavior so easily when you can't? You might have a friend who is super moody.
Yeah. The voice of reason returns to KPLA with yet another incendiary conversation. Listen, man, this is a conversation a lot of people don't like to have, because a lot of people are just not in a space to look at themselves, right? They're afraid to look at themselves. So the blind spot tends to be on autopilot, just in the background, wreaking havoc. Tonight's topic: what are your relationship blind spots? What are your relationship blind spots? How to see what you're not seeing. The reason why this topic is so profound and so powerful, as with other topics that I do, it intertwines into other conversations that we've had. You guys hear me talk about this all the time. Relationship is a mirror. Huh? Relationship is a mirror. And the mirrored relationships that we get into are designed to expose your blind spots. Oh, Lord. You can't see me. What are your relationship blind spots and how to see what you're not seeing? True or false? We only go blind to information that is troubling, so frightening, or so oppressed to what we believe that to absorb it would shatter our view of ourselves and the world. See how the ego protects itself? The ego wants to stay alive. So any information that we perceive or define as troubling or frightening or in opposition to our core beliefs, we reject it. We don't want our world view of ourselves or our view of ourselves and the world shattered. On the other hand, becoming fully conscious of our perceptions, simply feeling what we feel and knowing what we know is the very definition of awakening. Let me tell you something. The old way you've been taught, right, it leads to repetition. You can't learn nothing new from the old way. Listen, you can't learn nothing new from the old way. If you want to awaken, you have to get outside of your known. And it's hard to get outside of your known when you coddle the toxicity that you've come to know, that you've come to rely on, that has become your safety net. Because contrary to popular belief, most people come out of a somewhat dysfunctional situation. Even the situation people say, nah, I got two parents and they were there and da-da-da. Listen, everybody is a work in progress. Everybody has issues. When you ask your significant other for help, what do you usually ask for? What are you afraid to know about yourself? Blind spot. What is self-awareness and why should you care? Are y'all ready? Are y'all ready? Regarding your intimate relationship with your significant other, what are you most likely wrong about? When we come forward, the voice of reason is opening up the phone lines. I want to talk to you. Talk to me. Call me and let me know what you think your blind spot is. Do you continuously date the same person over and over and over again? What are you missing? Clearly, I've got a lot to talk about.
The reasons that we're here, the reasons that we fear, our feelings will disappear. You're listening to
Yeah. Everybody hit that like button. Let's go.
The clock is ticking, and there's just a few days left before God's trying to tell you something comes to town.
Yo.
We interrupt this program to bring you this.
We got $10 on the super chat. Will we hit that mark? That lofty mark. Ghetto Gourmet, Heru Ali posted. Ghetto Gourmet, keep reminding them about it. If we all rock together, we can get it done.
All remaining seats only $50. But hurry before they sell out again. Tickets on sale now at eventbrite.com and God's trying to tell you something.com. It's a night of theater you'll never forget.
Lights up.
It's God's trying to tell you something. Be a part of the live studio audience. Don't miss it.
Life is uncertain. It's okay to feel stressed, anxious. anxious, worried, or frustrated. It's normal. With CalHope's free and secure mental health resources, it's easy to get the help you and your loved ones need.
Where y'all at?
Call our warm
Katina back in the building. Katina. Yeah. Yes, we appreciate the love. Let's get it cracking tonight.
Connecting you with services and solutions. Central Youth Empowered Through Action
Yeah.
is the new component of the national CBO, known as the Community Coalition. South Central Youth Empowered Through Action has chapters at almost every South LA high school. Say yeah as
Man, $5 from everyone. We could do this. Come on, y'all. Don't be stingy. Don't be stingy. $5 from everybody. We could do that. $5 ain't nothing. We could do that. Should I turn the music off? Thank you, Katina. Thank you, Ghetto Gourmet. Who else jumped in here? Soul Power, aka Gamed Up Kennels. Who else? Ghetto Gourmet. Let's go. COCSouthLA.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580. You know you want some more. It's the voice of reason. Friends and family, brothers and sisters from all over the country, the voice of reason, the place where you find difficult conversations about relationship. Come on, y'all, let's get busy. We're talking about blind spots in relationships today. Of course, that was Ray Charles. No pun intended. My playlist is my co-host. Listen, we want to have a real conversation tonight, a non-judgmental space. Get in here and tell me what you think your blind spot is. Call me, 1-800-920-1580. Agree or disagree, we all have blind spots. These are those sneaky and pesky places where you don't see yourself with clarity. A lot of people don't like to reveal this type of stuff about themselves. But I'm telling you, relationships are spiritually designed to expose just that. Now, a blind spot in psychology. The definition of a blind spot in psychology is the blind spot is a defense mechanism which prevents the recognition of one's true feelings, because in recognizing them, all the more they would become painful and persistent. Right? How you really feel. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that is interesting, ladies and gentlemen. What are your blind spots? What are you afraid to feel? Yeesh. True or false, the holographic and reflective nature of relationship is the ultimate antidote for intrapersonal blind spots. How do you identify personal blind spots? Are you in a long-term relationship with somebody who refuses, the two of you might refuse, to look for your blind spots in your interaction? Do you feel like if you uncovered the blind spots that it would ruin the relationship? Or is leaving your blind spots clandestine, working in the background, is that ruining your relationship? Well, let's get even deeper. Can you name what you unconditionally love and accept about yourself? Is your unacknowledged blind spot preventing you from loving and accepting yourself unconditionally? 1-800-920-1580. It's about to get deep. It's about to get deep. This is about to get deep. Agree or disagree? Everyone's blind spots are different, and yet the blind spot or spots, because there could be multiple spots, right? Wow. Everyone's blind spots are different, and yet the blind spot or spots that's yours may negatively impact your ability to lead an agile team, raise a healthy human being, or be in a long-term relationship. How do you discover emotional blind spots? How many times have you gone through a breakup only to lament that you should have noticed the red flags from the beginning? You were blind to it, right? Sean from Oakland, California, get in here.
I just want to make sure that's clear. It took me many, many years to kind of develop the thing where, what I really like is my resilience. My resilience in the face of all kinds of crises or challenges, right? I didn't know I had it in me necessarily, but when it happened, things happen in life. Everyone, by the way, something's going to happen in life, won't be desirable, but it's how you come out of it, how you deal with it that matters, right? So my blind spots, right? My blind spots were not recognizing how I come out of those difficulties. And mainly where I was making mistakes way back in the day was the fact that I thought I had to not acknowledge what was really going on. And so what I would tell people is be honest with yourself and all your flaws, all of them. Every single bit of your flaws that you know damn well what are your flaws, and you be honest with them, then it doesn't mean you had to get rid of them tomorrow, get rid of them, a week or two from now.
Wait, Sean. Sean, I gotta ask you a question.
Sure.
Isn't it is being honest with yourself the hardest person to be honest with?
Absolutely, brother. There's no question.
But why?
The reason why for me, I can only speak for myself. The reason why for me is because I always had to be the rock for other people around me, right? Or at least I perceived that I needed to be the rock around other people, dealing with all kinds of other stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So everyone looked up to me for this, that, or the other, and they still do. But I have my uncle. My uncle is my rock. But I have to tell you, it's your internal, it's your own dealings, that I maybe didn't need to be the rock for everyone, but I felt as though I needed to be. So when things went bad, they look at me and I'm calm and cool, right? We're inside, on the inside, I'm torn. I am like on fire.
So,
my whole everything.
So let's get even deeper. So being the rock was really a facade and a performance you kept up.
Absolutely. There's
Ooh.
no doubt about that. That's being honest with myself. I had to make a decision, right? Priorities and choices. How can I make this work? Now, I'm not saying I made them because I made so many mistakes, but I made some good decisions. And I think overall, I think if you can find it within you to kind of set an example of the best you can, even when things get really bad, and if you can just perceive, if everyone's looking at you in a bad situation, like what's going on, not that you're the fault of it or anything, they're just like, what do we do now? You know, sometimes, you do have to kind of like, hey, not sure what to do here, but, I am the rock. You can stop right here and we can figure this out. We can problem solve. And if you can problem solve with your family, with your relationships, it will go a long way to having a healthier relationship
So,
all
Sean,
around.
one more time. Let's go deeper. Let's
Yeah,
go
absolutely.
deeper. Why did you create the rock facade? Why did you feel the need to have to show up and be there for everybody, even when on the inside you knew, like, man, this is probably bigger than me, probably beyond me? Was it type of
Way bigger.
a savior complex? Go deeper. Where is the blind
That's
spot?
great. It's a great question. I think it is a little bit of me taking my confidence in myself to the utmost. Whether I was right or not, I just felt like there's no one else that's going to do it. You know what I mean?
Mm.
There's no one else that's going to take this role. I'm going to take this role, and as fallible as I am, and all the mistakes that I know I've made and I'm still going to make even in this situation, I'm the only one there doing anything.
Mm.
So at least you're giving it some effort. My whole thing is give it some effort. When I think most people know when everyone's looking at you and saying, hey, what next?
Right.
What's next? You
Right.
know what I mean? And there's no perfect answer, brother, but you do the very best you can. You move forward. I mean,
Man.
and you take it easy on everybody. Take it easy on people you're disagreeing with because you don't want to bring everyone down. You want to lift them up.
I love it. Hey, Sean, we appreciate the insight. First caller of the night, Sean brought Oakland, California in the building. Listen, if you want to bring your city in the building, all you got to do is call me at 1-800-920-1580. Hey, this topic is heavy. This topic is deep. A lot of people don't want to have these types of conversations, and I understand why. A blind spot. How did they get past my defenses? How did they get into my life? Well, you have a blind spot. Have you identified it? Where did you get it from? Did you inherit it? Is a blind spot a generational curse, i.e., a generational task? When I come forward, I'm going to Chicago. Folks want to talk in the Windy City. Clearly, they've got a lot to talk about, too. Yeah. Hey, where my phone callers? Where y'all at? We're at 60 bucks, man. You guys are doing a great job. I appreciate it. Can I get everybody to call in? Can I get everybody to call in? Can I get everybody to hit the like button? Can everybody continue to twos and fuse rolling? You disagree with what, Mimi? What you disagree with, Mimi? Share with me.
And Americans are seeing smaller refunds this year as tax filing season comes to a close. The IRS says it has processed around 69 million refunds through April 7th for a total of nearly $199 billion. That's around $23 billion less than last year's total of just over $222 billion. I'm Julius White on your home for
Callers. No action, no traction. I need 2 callers. Who's brave enough to get in here and participate? Who's brave enough to get in here and cook? Who's brave enough to get in here and holler at your brother. Huh? I haven't found a woman that moved me to being the muse. Let's see. I haven't found a woman that moved me to being the muse of my life in a while. Hmm. Interesting. Caution. Xylon Farrell, always twos and fews. You took us to $65, man. Much appreciation, much love, much respect. I need some callers, though. Who wants to talk to your brother Zoe Williams today? You know how we do. We always push the envelope with these discussions. Everybody shout out Xylem for supporting. Let's hit those like buttons. Let's get in here. I need callers, 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 callers. Where are my callers? Y'all gonna call in or no? Callers, callers, let's go. How's everybody doing on this Tuesday? This lovely Tuesday. How's everybody doing? What did Third Eye say? Let me get in the chat. Y'all need to call because a lot of y'all love what? Caping for Brad. Who is Brad? See, sometimes I be at a loss. What up, what up, what up? Everybody good? Yeah. Oh, Sean equals. We know Third Eye don't like Sean. Brad equals white people. Oh. Wow. Wow. So Sean can't like the show, Third Eye? Sean can't participate in the show, Third Eye? I don't know why Third Eye doesn't like Sean. Third Eye, tell us. Hey, what up, people who just joined the broadcast? Please hit the like button. Please show your love and hit the like button, man. Sean has called every station long before Zoe's show was here, and it's Zoe's call on who to allow on the air and how long. See how he dropped anonymous? Sean is white. But he calls. He takes heed to the call to action. I can't remember. He rubbed me the wrong way using his biracial wife as a badge to talk about a black topic. But is this a black topic? Or do I frame it to address certain black issues? But relationships, that's part of the human condition. He was a light-skinned man in my head. Oh, this was a while back. Anyway, was New the leading scorer? I want to know that. I hope New was the leading scorer because he was, man, I was in the live chat talking hella shit about Venezuela. It's targeting everybody. Black people calling this a black channel. What? I just get on and do it. Ladies and gentlemen, friends and family, from all over the United States, your brother Zoe Williams is live on KBLA Talk 1580 from the heart of Leimert Park, and we're having a heavy conversation. What are your relationship blind spots? Agree or disagree, most of us have such psychological blind spots, which are aspects of our personalities that are obvious to everyone but us. Listen, that's one thing that has, throughout my life, fascinated me. I remember when I was young, very young, and I was dating a young lady, and my godmother pulled me to the side after she met her. You know, they communed with each other for a little while. And then after she left, after the young lady left, my godmother came to me and said, no, 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 not for you. She's not for you. Yes, she's beautiful. She's gorgeous. But no, 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 no. And I was just fascinated because I couldn't see what my godmother could see. And she was really, Keshar is her name. She was like, look, I'm telling you, something is amiss. Something is off. She said, no, 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 not her. Not her. And then it gets even weirder. It gets even weirder. She goes upstairs because at the time, my godmother was a manager of an apartment building. And there was a gay couple who lived on the top floor. And they chimed in from their balcony because they heard my godmother telling me, this is not the woman for me. And from the balcony, it was like, no, no, she right. That ain't, I said, what in the world? And I couldn't see it. And do you know, they were right? They were 100% right about this person. I missed everything. Then, here's another story. Happened to me when I was about 34. Oh, I was dating this just gorgeous, just incredibly gorgeous. It was one of the great loves of my life. No, I didn't listen. Every time somebody tell me, hey, this ain't for you, I don't listen. I'm hard-headed. I get it, man. I get it. So random woman out of, I was at the Poetry Lounge here on Fairfax, and I was dating one of the great loves of my life. I take the sister to the Poetry Lounge. That was one of our little hangouts. We go there on Tuesday nights, watch some poetry. It was wonderful. A random sister, poet, came up to me and said these exact words. She's gorgeous, but she's not for you. Now, I ignored her. This poet girl was 21 years old and called herself crushing on me. So I dismissed it. But she said, no, 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 no. In all seriousness, brother. No, no, not her. No, no, not in front of her. No, 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 no. Andy is like, in front of her face? No, 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 no. Not in front of her. But she pulled me to the side and was like, yo, yeah, but nah. And I've always been fascinated. You can see what I can't see. And of course, I ignored her. And a few years later, 100% right. Proven. I went back to the Poetry Lounge 4 or 5 years later and was like, yo. She was like, I told you, didn't I? It's interesting that people in your circle can pick up things about you that you are oblivious to. Now, my question is, are you consciously oblivious? Are you trying not to pay attention to the blind spot? Let me tell you something. Relationship will expose that blind spot. This is why I say you're supposed to go into a relationship looking for how you show up. It is a school. Yes, it's a fun school that has Netflix and chill. It's a fun school that has movie nights and date nights and a little slap and tickle. It has sex and it has all types of wonderful amenities, but it is still the university of you. And one of the hardest things to do is listen to the truth that originates from outside of you yet resonates with the truth on the inside of you. 1-800-920-1580. Justin from Chicago. Bring the Windy City up in here, brother. Man, I'm alive and well. What's cracking with you, good brother?
Write out a lot of the answers to those questions. It was a great thought exercise, you know, and I just want to say, like, I appreciate that. I you know, I come from a background of like I have a lot of trauma, you know, a lot of screwed up stuff has happened, and I find that I've actually built up blind spot, and I've done it as a method of survival. And so what that's helped me with is build boundaries within my relationships that I have, my personal relationships. Now, that's different on the internet. You know, I let my boundaries go a lot, but in my personal relationships, I keep them up, and I find that that's back up to phone call. It's been life-saving for me, and a lot of that has to do with introspection. You know. And learning how to communicate with the people I choose to have in my life.
No, that's big, Justin. But I don't. Let me. So blind spots typically ruin boundaries. They typically create cloundries, right? That's our word for poor boundaries. We call them cloundries because you wind up clowning yourself. What you want to create are soundries, sound boundaries. And how you do that is by acknowledging and embracing the blind spot. You first acknowledge its existence, you observe it without judgment, you embrace it as a part of yourself. Do you understand what I'm saying? You do not I mean, it's very interesting to hear you say you've built a blind spot because typically blind spots are impediments to clear sight. So you can build a sound boundary by eradicating a blind spot. So it's very interesting to hear you went the reverse. Talk to me about your process.
Well, she told me that. Okay. So I like I said, I come from a very traumatic background. I was used to getting pushed around, not believing myself, you know, hating myself, and things like that. And I learned, actually, mostly through using a substance called DMT, that introspection.
DMT gonna move DMT gonna shine a light on every blind spot in your spirit. Trust me.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And I've found that the use of psychedelic medicines as well as, you know, other means, social media has actually been a big help to me. Also, you know, and like I say, I don't carry my boundaries on social media. I let everything out that, you know, I have to. There's personal reasons for it.
But then you put up the boundaries in the relationship. Now listen, are they boundaries or barriers?
No, they're boundaries. Yeah, they're boundaries. I learned how to set boundaries throughout the years. You know, I just I'm gonna say it. I've been raped a few times. You know.
Here we go.
So to have to, you know, as a male, especially like I'm a white dude, you know, like I've been raped by men, women, you know, I've been raped by, you know, transgender people. Like I've been raped a lot, and so to be able to build up boundaries for me
Important.
was a huge deal. Like
Yeah.
I could never do it. You know, like I'm on the run from the law right now, and I'm going back in 2 weeks to turn myself in because, you know, I have integrity, the right thing to do. I had to learn all that shit stuff on my own. You
Wow.
know, and now I have children in my life. I need to teach all that stuff. I have a son that I'm not allowed to see. So hopefully he'll see my internet stuff one day. He'll be like, oh, my dad was a bad guy. You know?
Wow.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, hey, this is a non-judgmental space, Justin. I'm glad you called in. I'm glad you're sharing. So, what is your process for healing? Because if you've gone through all this trauma, right? What is your process for healing? And if you don't mind me asking, what did you do to be on the run from the law?
Yeah. Firstly, I write a lot. I paint. Since I've been in Chicago, I've been painting with the kids a lot. Um, I do a lot of writing, poetry and such. I don't have big attention span, so, you know, I write small things. To get into the law, I accidentally robbed my own bank. I went in. I was coming off of using methamphetamine, and I was about 3 days off. But I walked about 2 miles to get to the bank because I didn't have a car. It was better that way. And I went to withdraw money from my own account, and I walked in, and I'm like, I was kind of aggro because I was having kind of a bad day. But I was like, is my stimulus? I'm sure he wants to incriminate himself over there. This check is not in your account. I was like, okay, well, just give me whatever's on hand, bank. So what she did was she took that to me that I was robbing her, and she's like looking for money. I'm just like, come on. And so she gave me a stack of $500. I walked out the bank.
So you didn't really, I'm thinking when you say rob a bank, I'm thinking set it off. Like you went in there and no, you took $500 that the lady handed to you. Okay.
I shouldn't have walked out of the bank with it. Like by that time, I realized what was going to happen. It was a bad day.
Yeah, man. You got to turn yourself in. They're probably not gonna. You're probably gonna get a slap on the wrist, especially if you give them the money back.
I'm already on probation.
Oh.
I have probation for like the next 5 years or something. So.
Oh wow.
I'm gonna do the right thing. You know, I got to show the kids the right thing to do. But I left them. I ran away on principle. You know.
Wow. Please do the right thing, Justin. Let me just say this, man. You have made this one of the most incredible calls of the Voice of Reason since our inception. I appreciate you, Justin. I hope everything works out well for you, brother. Wow, this was heavy. If you want to bring your city in the building, all you got to do is call the Voice of Reason at 1-800-920-1580. When I come forward, more on blind spots. Yikes.
The California Black Chamber of Commerce is helping to expand broadband access. Maisha Cairo here with your K-Black Minute News, brought to you by Lendistry. Story courtesy of CaliforniaBlackMedia.org. The California Black Chamber of Commerce is
you be letting all type of weirdos in here.
Its digital divide by helping push the state's mile broadband initiative through the Broadband Technology Small Business Initiative. It connects CBCC's statewide membership of 5,500 plus small African American
Because he on the run. Yeah. Wow.
Of broadband technology. 2020 internet access reports that
whoa.
50% of Black Californians had zero internet access.
What in the Sam hell is going on? Where are my callers at? I don't understand why y'all get all quiet. Y'all get quiet. I don't like it. Get involved.
Lendistry is a national black-led small business lender that is headquartered in Los Angeles. Lendistry helps
6898. That's where we at on the super chat. You guys are doing a wonderful job on the likes. I appreciate it. Hey, Andy, Can you play the Cops theme song coming back in?
I got you.
Great idea, Nzinga. What you gon' when the sheriff come for you? Do you want me to start calling every day like Sean? I want you to call when you're moved. If you're not moved, don't call. If you're moved, call. If you're learning something, call. If you're intrigued, call. If your interest is piqued, call. If none of that is happening, don't call. See, this is how I know a lot of times it be like some weird shit going on because y'all are intrigued, you're moved, the shit be moving in your mind, you be thinking, but you don't participate. We get some OGs participate, right? OGs, Ghetto Gourmet, Cali Soul, Nzinga, Fred, Truemonger. You get what I'm saying? And yes, Mimi, you have called, and it is greatly appreciated. But we get roughly the same, Tiffany, Nazarene X. We get roughly the same 10 or 12 callers every show. Let's broaden the range. Let's broaden the range. Can we do that? Reggie calls in. See? Speak of Fred and he pops up. Yo! The voice of reason. Let me just say this, man. Shout out to Justin. We're going to dedicate this record to Justin, man, from Chicago, Illinois. The voice of reason returns. We're talking about how to identify, personal blind spots, emotional blind spots, psychological blind spots. And there are some ways, right? And even Justin, you know, spoke on one of them when he was talking about the creation of his personal boundaries. And that is self-reflection or mindfulness, taking time out. But another one, to be able to see your blind spots or discover your blind spots is, you know, some positive feedback, some constructive feedback, some truthful feedback. And again, the feedback comes from people who are able to observe things about you that you yourself are oblivious to. It is obvious to them, but oblivious to you. And having those types of discussions will, put you on the path to discovering blind spots that you may not have known existed within your psyche. So it's a good thing to do if you're not afraid. It's not for the faint of heart. And then I would say, and I'm a big fan of journaling because I write down a lot of ideas and concepts. What if you had a downside journal? or a weakness journal? A journal where you journaled about the discovery of your weaknesses. Every time you discovered something about you that, you know, showed that, you have a weakness in you, right? What if you journaled about it, right? And I'm saying all your journals have to be non-judgmental, in my opinion, because you don't want to, infuse your psyche with negative self-talk, but a journal that outlines your weaknesses. Because every weakness you have, I promise you, is like mold in an apartment. The relationship is the apartment. The weakness you have will grow and fester in the walls of that relationship if they are not reconciled. Internal self awareness represents how clearly we see our own values, passions, aspirations, and how they fit in our environment, our reactions, including thoughts, feelings, behaviors, strengths, and weaknesses, and how they impact others, right? A lot of people don't want to be self-aware. They don't want to be internally self-aware. It's a struggle for many people. Most people are focused on external self-awareness, how I look to other people, right? How people view me, right? How I want to be perceived in a certain way, right? They'd rather not be locked into the internal self-awareness process that is constantly revealing aspects of your character, aspects of how you get down with self. Nah, it's all a performance, right? You have to be aware of these things, because when you get into a relationship and none of this stuff is dealt with, you're going to see that first argument, you're going to show up in ways that you didn't even know were possible for you to do. When I come forward, hour number 2, callers, questions. What are your relationship blind spots? Here we go. Yeah. So none of y'all are moved by this conversation.
Was attacked for existing while black. Mayor Quentin Lucas says he's just as outraged and concerned as the many wondering why Ralph Knowles was shot. The shooter is now behind bars. Southwest Airlines is back to normal operations after a full ground stop, but delays continue to pile up. Now over 1,800 flights that have been delayed, and the airline is now playing catch up. Americans are seeing smaller refunds this year as tax filing season comes to a close. The IRS says it has processed around 69 million refunds through April 7th for a total of nearly
I'm intrigued.
That's around $23 billion less than last year's total of just over $222 billion. I'm Julian Spite on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network, and BINews.com.
Blang, blang, blang. Yeah, I know. I thought we were past being exposed and all of that. I thought we were past it. Greg Scott, let's stay positive, brethren. Yes. I'm to do the call. Fuck around and find out.
blind spots are the places that we allow ourselves not to be changed. Areas that you won't allow your faith to touch. Where your faith is not penetrating and you don't see it. Vengeance and anger and hurt create blind spots. I'm not talking about good people and evil people, right people and wrong people. I'm talking about places where there should be love, but there's hate. Like maybe your heart. I wonder what is in your blind spot. Who is suffering in your blind spot for the lack of something that you refuse to give? Some people are nicer to strangers than they are to their own family. How can you say that you love God and hate me? Just because you're gifted, and just because you're anointed, and just because you're successful, doesn't mean you're right. Get ready. Money doesn't mean you're right. You cannot substitute cash for righteousness. If God measures the saturation of our faith by the way we treat people, how deep is yours? How deep are you really? What I'm asking you to do is to reflect the mercy you have been given. The reason I have to be merciful is because I have received mercy. And every time I want to be judgmental, I keep remembering something that God did in my life. Mercy doesn't end with you. Mercy begins with you. I think God wants to make you a sanctuary. He wants to make your heart a sanctuary. This is not about them. This is about you. God wants you to be free.
Get ready. The legendary T.D. Jakes talking about blind spots. See, sometimes we have a blind spot when the broken amongst us speak the truth. We want to judge the broken because we want to say, how dare you be broken and still be a vessel for the absolute highest truth. There are people out there who don't like T.D. Jakes. Oh, we don't like T.D. Jakes. But did he tell the truth right there about blind spots? Huh? Did he tell the truth? Sounds like the truth to me. And I don't care about the man's personal life. If he spoke the truth, accept the truth. Your blind spot is what makes you small, not your partner. Your partner just accepted the invitation from your blind spot. Your blind spot gave them a VIP invitation to minimize you, to marginalize you. And because you don't want to take any responsibility for that, because listen, if you don't do the healing work, relationship will do the revealing work. I know you don't want to hear it this evening. You got blind spots because you let them live in your spirit rent free. But guess what? They still cost you. I know nobody wants to hear it like that tonight. Tonight. We talking about the blind spots that ruin your relationship. I'm trying to tell you, you can heal your blind spots by cultivating your internal self-awareness. You need to become competent at you. Not competent at what you do, but competent at you. What does that mean, Zoe? You need to get into your emotional awareness. What is Getting into my emotional awareness, recognizing your emotions and the effects that they have on yourself and others. You need to start being honest about an accurate self-assessment, seeing your strengths and your limits. Oh, from an unbiased point of view. If you can't look at yourself from an unbiased perspective, how you gonna ever see your partner from an unbiased perspective? And guess what? When you're looking at your partner, your shadow, your unhealed wounds, your blind spots are looking too. And not only are they looking, they are shaping who you think your partner is. So assumptions abound. Your perception gets translated by you as your truth. Oh, now I know y'all don't want to hear this tonight.
Get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready.
I know you don't want to hear it this evening. But you got to get competent in self. Emotional awareness. Huh? Internal self-awareness. You got to put down all this, I need to look right in front of people. I need to present well in front of people. Because all you are is a presentation. But when I open up the package, you're a mess. A mess with demands. A mess with expectations. A mess running around claiming you deserve the best of the best when you haven't treated yourself well enough to even be in a relationship. I know y'all don't want to hear it. 1-800-920-1580. When I come forward, I'm going all over the country to talk to folk.
The reasons that we fear, the reasons that we fear, our feelings will disappear. You're listening to the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
I personally am here with personally law office. As a fourth-generation Angelino, educated at Hampton University and Howard University School of Law.
I don't know if y'all gonna... I don't know what I gotta do. I don't know what I have to do to get y'all excited about this show. I don't know what I got to do to get y'all excited about today's show. I don't know what I got to do to get y'all excited about today's show. Hey, Vic, you ain't got to say Uncle Zoe. I know who you are. I see your name right there every time you pop in here. What up, Vic? Vic FM, what up?
Did you know that over 90% of mail-in
Let it use you, Zoe. Get ready. Hey, thank you, Greg Scott. We appreciate it. You took us to 7231 today.
Something that takes mail enhancement into the 21st century. Something that really works. Men, you need to try Noxatril.
He said give out free cookies.
All-natural male enhancement formula that will unlock your performance in the bedroom to a level you can only dream of.
Oh, wow, that's terrible.
On steroids. Noxatril is so powerful, that's why it took years for it to finally become available to the public without a prescription. So call now and take advantage of our special Noxatril free.
What up, what up, what up?
Oh yeah, we recommend that you use the Noxatril dose as directed. Think of your partner. We certainly don't want you to overperform in the bedroom.
Find out how to get a free bottle of Noxatril. Call 800-490-7856. That's 800-490-7856. Free bottles for a limited time, so call now. 800-490-7856. 800-490-7856.
70-something ain't nowhere near 500. Well, we got 72 people in here again. $5 from everybody would get us there. But y'all gotta want to share. Y'all gotta want to share. We fuck off $5 every day. Y'all gotta want to share. $5 is nothing from everybody. Now, if one person gave $500, then everybody be like, "Oh, cool! Oh, amazing, amazing, amazing!" But it's $5 from every individual. I don't think that's a big deal. But maybe it is. It might be. Especially with what the hell is going on. I can understand. I can understand. What's going on in the world right now? I can understand. sometimes we assume that it ain't bad, but it might be bad for a lot of people right now. Right? It just might be bad. I get it. Ladies and gentlemen, friends and family, brothers and sisters, the voice of reason back in the building. We're talking about blind spots, man. 4 common emotional blind spots. Believing that you can tell people what to do and they will change. Having a conversation with somebody will not change them. Might inspire them, might spark them, but that spark may fizzle. And you might feel disappointed because you thought what you said was inspiring enough or inspiration enough for them to change. It's a blind spot to think that people will change after you spoke to them. Not spending enough time trying to cultivate healthy relationships. Again, most people have superficial relationships. The depth of most relationships, the depth of the connectedness tends to just be right above the surface, right? Never dipping deeply into the realm of realness. Many people have very, very superficial relationships. You can't have a deeply connected relationship unless you're deeply connected to yourself. But not just connected, but accepting of yourself, right? So before you make an effort to make a relationship work, you have to make an effort to make the relationship with self work. In other words, you got to take time and energy and put in the effort to love you, to accept you, to be real to you, to acknowledge you, to embolden yourself, to embrace yourself, to see yourself without judgment, right? To speak to yourself with positive self-talk, with encouragement. You have to learn how to empathize with yourself. Many of you are really trying to get everything out of your partner that you should have been putting into yourself. And you know, my clinicians will come in here and be like, oh, Zo, that's hard and that's difficult. But that's your life. This is the part where the clinical piece falls off because it doesn't deal with the spirit. You chose to come here and you have spiritual amnesia. You don't remember why you chose to come here. But these difficult life lessons are knocks on the spirit to remind you of why you came here and the work you must do within self in order to experience the type of relationship you claim you deserve. Ooh. Blind spot, not communicating clearly when you're stressed out or upset. That's a blind spot. Avoiding difficult conversations is a blind spot. Man, sometimes life can hit you so hard, you will isolate and insulate yourself from the people who love you, thus causing a relational injury because you over here only worried about self, but relationship is about balance. Yes, you take time for yourself, but you come back and you acknowledge, yes, I got to pour back into you. I ain't gonna go there. Here we go. We got callers. You know, I get on the road, man, and we got callers. We're all over the country. Who's been on the longest? Let's get them in here right now. Reggie, Austin, Texas.
know, and just resting in the fact that I don't know, I'll work to find an answer, even though I'm not supposed to know. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll keep working, and eventually I'll get to the point where I'm like, man, I don't know, and I just, that'll just be it. But I want to get to that point initially. I want to rest in the fact that I don't know something, and that's okay. And I want to know how to get from the beginning to that resting point. I just waste a lot of time doing that. You know what I'm saying?
So, a great book to read. Here's a great book to read because all you explained was the unknown. There is a discomfort with the unknown. Great book, Jiddu Krishnamurti. Freedom from the known. Read that book, brother. Because the unknown is a sign of awakening. The known represents comfort. Do you see? Knowledge is a reflex of memory. Somebody learned how to build a chair, right? And they remembered the blueprint for building a chair. See, knowledge is perfect for technology. We remember what we did and we improve upon what we did. When it comes to spirituality and relationships, psychological knowledge, i.e. memory, is destructive. Because most of us remember the wounds, the pain, the events. Your body even remembers the trauma it's been through. So psychological knowledge, right? Knowledge being a reflex of memory. You're always being carried back to a negative moment, a negative experience. The blind spot is now created as a coping mechanism so you don't get transported back there so often. So you block it out. And then you try to move forward and say, I deserve this from you. But your blind spot is also demanding because it wants to protect itself. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes. That makes sense. Yeah, I get to the point where I'm okay, but I just want to hurry up to that point. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I'll read that book, man. Thank you.
Hey, brother Reggie, you know we love it when you call in. Austin, Texas is in the building because of Reggie. If you want to bring your city in the building, all you got to do is call me at 1-800-920-1580. Tiffany, Atlanta, Georgia. Jump in here.
All right. So I had to recognize, like, it's one of the blind spots that I didn't realize was a blind spot until having to look back on a lot of the nasty habits that I have when dealing in relationships is that I tend to want to just automatically sweep things under the rug, but I was doing it in a way that was very sneaky in nature to where I would make a person feel like, oh, like, I hear you, I totally understand, I'll let them go on a rant, tangent, whatever the case may be. And I will be like AOL dial-up service in the brain while they're talking and completely zone out. And so when they're all finished, it's like, oh, okay, cool. Like, oh, man, thank you so much for sharing. The whole time, like, I ain't absorbed none of that. And that was my form of sweeping things under the rug until it got to a point where it's like, okay, I remember having this conversation. I remember them expressing this or whatever, but it's like this whole ordeal of me taking that and just sweeping it away. Like, I even gave an analogy most recently where you may defecate in a box, right? Like, somebody will hand you, like, poop in a box. And you'll be like, ew, and instead of going to throw it away, I just took it somewhere. And now I got, like, boxes of poop just stacked up. And then I might walk in that room thinking, like, oh, I got something in this room that I need to grab. You walk in the room and you just got boxes of fruit stacked, and you just like, ew. But you just close the door to it because you don't want to deal with it. Well, now I'm having to sort through all of these boxes looking for meaningful
poo.
That just right. Meaningful, like not even meaningful poop, but looking through the box and just be like, okay, is this poop in this one? Oh, it is. And having to toss it, so I'm having to undo a lot of things.
No, I love it. I love it. I love it. That's your process. We love you for calling in. Tiffany, Atlanta, Georgia, thanks you. We thank you. If you want to bring your city in the building, all you got to do is call me at 1-800-920-1580. Let's get these callers in here. Nzinga, Pensacola, Florida. Talk to us.
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
I think one of my blind spots is going to be probably communication. Because I tend to internalize things because I won't say anything. I'll just, whatever. And I think that's also led to, like, boundaries being crossed.
Right, avoidant, what is that? Avoidant communication style tends to lead to more conflict. Yeah, I got you. Go ahead, I'm listening.
And I think sometimes, too, like if I don't like something because of where a person stands in my life, I will just, I'll ignore it. But I think sometimes, too, when I think, well, I can return the favor or it's okay for me to do the same thing and it's not, then I feel like, oh, okay, well, that should have been a boundary that I should have. It shouldn't matter who the person is. A boundary, and I think I have a blind spot for people who I tend to really care about sometimes. I guess I won't have a boundary with them. And I think that's a blind spot of mine.
Where does it, but where do you think the boundary originates from?
I don't know.
Well, go on a journey. Everything comes. Have we not learned anything from all of these topics? Typically, everything that affects us in an internal way comes from how we were raised, comes from our origin, our normal, our origin point. Go back there and ask yourself. This is why you need an origin story journal. Where I came from, who taught me, what, and all of the things they taught me. What was the fat versus what was the meat? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, go back to that origin story.
How did I get this? How did I get this belief or this foundation? Like, where did it come from? Why do I believe, I guess, this is how it should be? Why? So,
I love it. 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 And your blind spot is being a nurturer for people you care about, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
And they tend to take advantage of it.
I don't want to say I hope not.
Okay. So is it necessarily bad? Do you feel bad when you're taking care of them?
No, I wouldn't say that. No.
So why would you call it a blind spot? I'm just saying, is the blind spot problematic?
It can be because I guess, and maybe it's more of an expectation, and it's not even an expectation. If I do for you, you do for me. Not even that. But like I guess sometimes if I'll take a call from somebody. Maybe I may not feel like talking, but this is my people, so I'm going to take the call. But if I reach out, you know, they may not. And then I'm feeling like, well, shit, I mean, I'm feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I'm feeling like, well, maybe I shouldn't have when I didn't feel like it. Maybe that's like my lesson. If I don't feel like doing something, then maybe I shouldn't.
Right. Because I was going to say, do you categorize the people that you nurture as takers or emotional parasites?
I'm playing the fifth.
See, because now you're not being truthful. Yeah, I need you to.
I'm not being truthful. I'm not. What is it? I'm not agreeing, and I'm not disagreeing.
That's what pleading the fifth is.
Right? That's not a lie. I'm not lying. I'm just not saying.
Omission is lying. Like, stop. Come on, Nzinga.
Actually, something else.
Now, but again, this, I want the listeners to dial into this. This is actually a blind spot happening in real time in this discussion. She said, ask me something else. That is avoidance. I don't want to say, and it's okay. You know, I love Nzinga. We appreciate Nzinga. You just taught us something today. You actually gave us a living example of what it actually means to live with a blind spot. And I thank you for calling and sharing that with me.
You're welcome. Good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, Pensacola, Florida is in the building. Where did Juliet from my city go? Pasadena, get back in here. When we come forward, more callers and more insight about the blind spot. Yeah. And Zingo was fired. I'm going to call it a night, family. Keep the conversation fire. We in here cooking, y'all. Tracy Brooks, peace, sister. We on one tonight.
Shot by an 84-year-old white man for knocking on the wrong door to pick up his siblings was attacked for existing while black.
Existing while black.
Concerned as the many wondering why Ralph Young was shot. The shooter is now behind bars.
Tiffany, rest well. Nzinga. Hey, Eric Jackson, it was fire, bro. It was fire. Nzinga just lit a fire. We have 0 callers. Y'all gonna call in? Y'all gonna talk to your brother? Y'all gonna call in or no? I'm a firefighter and a bridge burner. Wow. Wow. I'm a firefighter and a bridge burner. Wow. True Monger in the building. What up, True Measy? So, an arsonist. Wow. Regina Harris, call in. James Rucker, call in. Greg Scott, call in. Eric Jackson, call in. Chris M, call in. Tracy Brooks, call in. MB, call in. No is a healthy word. Yes, it is. Call in, Greg Scott. I'm a 20-year fireman. Really? No is my favorite word. What's my favorite word? No. What's my favorite word? No. That's funny. Bia Nzinga was powerful today. Gosh, that was a big time call. Yo, can we get those twos and fews popping? Listen, we're at 77.31. Can we at least get to $100 tonight? At least. Twos and fews. Can we activate to $100? We're at $27 away from 100. Can we do it? Hit that super chat button, the $ down at the bottom of the chat. Drop your offering. Where we at? 30 seconds. You can't see. You need to wear something like DMC. Y'all not ready. Y'all not ready for my playlist. The voice of reason back in the building. That's Run DMC. You're blind. You can't see. You need to wear some glasses like DMC. Come on, hip hop. Yeah, hip hop has something to say about this topic. What are your relationship blind spots? How to see what you're not seeing. How do you combat your blind spots? We talked about practicing self-awareness, right? Combating your emotional blind spots, or you 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 combat them with emotional intelligence, right? So you have to start practicing self-awareness. You got to learn how to self-regulate your feelings. You can't get too high, you can't get too low. You have to remain in the center of the pendulum. Life is going to swing abruptly and without warning from left to right. You have to learn how to center yourself uh, in that swinging, right? In that incessant swinging, right? So you have to learn how to regulate how you feel, right? Self-regulation of your emotions is the capacity to notice when you are headed off the rails and recognize what tools you need to bring yourself back to emotional balance. So you hear me talk about the pendulum. There's emotional balance right there. You have to find the center of the pendulum of life's incessant swaying, right? You have to keep. Now, peep this. This is the heavy piece. You keep having the same relationship with different people, right? This is tough. If all your relationships have been takers or emotional parasites who drain you and never give anything back, or cheaters, or people who are uh, emotionally abusive, people who constantly marginalize and minimize your presence and your worth in the relationship. You need to understand, and I know this is gonna hurt, but the common denominator is you. How you treat yourself, how you show up for you. Go back home spiritually. Go back home. Start at your origin point, right? Yeesh. Blind spots. People consistently describe you in ways that don't fit your self-image. You got to start doing some work. What is it that they're seeing that I'm not seeing about myself? Instead of just outright rejecting it, they might have an insight into you that you may be unaware of. Ask questions. Be curious about what they see. Investigate their talking points. Yeesh. Yeesh. Here we go. Callers, get to the phone lines. Truemonger, Dallas, Texas. Get in here. What are your thoughts, brother? What are your thoughts? Right. Mm.
People,
Right.
I used to struggle with that a lot because I just never really thought about myself in that way. I just do what I do and keep moving.
Mm-hmm.
But I take time to understand, at least try to understand where other people were coming from, what their situations were, and all this stuff, and let them know that I had a shoulder to lean on if they needed and all that. But I never gave myself that same kind of love.
Mm.
I just never thought about it.
Have
So
you?
I never really,
But have you
never
since?
really reached out.
Have you since?
Yeah.
You've learned to
Yeah.
do this. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, because I used to not just reach out unless I was just really in a desperate situation to where I couldn't handle it.
Mm-hmm.
I had to learn to grow out of that. And it took a long time. Through several relationships, and all those things fell out, and getting cheated on, and had my empathy taken advantage of. Then I'll become cold towards those people, and then they wonder why. And then I would let them know, and they act like they couldn't understand.
Right.
Because maybe they were just used to treating people the way they treated them. And I'm not that guy. I'm always going to see something different, another way to think.
Mm-hmm.
And they may not be ready for that. It could be vice versa. I might not be ready for what they were coming in with.
Mm.
And I just didn't understand it at that time.
Right.
And you had to get away from the situation to really process it.
Mm. Mm.
So I think that's at least one I could really think of off the top of my head.
I love it, man. I love it, True. I love it, brother. Man, True Monger always calls and always tells the truth, man. Dallas, Texas owes you the keys to the city, brother. We appreciate you for calling in. You brought your city in the building. If you want to bring your city in the building, all you got to do is call me at 1-800-920-1580. Chris, Paso Robles, California, get in here.
Hey, what's up, Joe? How you doing this evening, brother?
Man, I'm alive and well. How are you, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Living it day by day.
What are your thoughts on tonight's topic?
Yeah, I did say that I was a firefighter and a professional bridge burner.
Yeah.
I mean that metaphorically.
Yes.
You know, metaphorically, because you know you spend a lot of time putting out fires, like because you can see what you did when you're looking at the other person in your relationship, you know, and so you try to figure out a way to put that fire out. But at the same time, the blind spot is when you realize how willing you are that you could burn this bridge down and never have it again, you know, and how easy that is sometimes, you know. So
heavy.
Yeah.
So your blind spot is putting out fires while yet burning bridges.
Bridges, yeah.
And why do you burn the bridge? Like, I want to know your specific reason for, you know what? Let's do that. When do you choose to do that?
Well, when there's nothing, when you feel like you have no other resort, it's like the kamikaze effect, or, you know, you feel like you have nothing left to do. You know, you don't want to fight, and you don't want to, you know, you don't want to give in either. You're just like, okay, well, this is as far as I'm going to get with this.
So,
you just have to be willing to
is that a, can I just say, metaphorically speaking, is bridge burning the ultimate tantrum?
Not necessarily, not if you actually do it. You know, if you can say that you'll do that, but then you're not really going to do it at that point. I think it's more just like it's the last resort, you know, ultimately.
No, I think you're missing what I'm saying. It's self-sabotage. It's the same as if I can't have her, no one can. It's the same principle, bro.
Okay.
So I'm gonna burn the bridge now.
Yeah.
That's
you feel like nothing else.
Yes.
Nothing else to offer.
So I didn't get what I want. So damn the bridge.
Oh, I see.
That's narcissistic behavior, bro.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, nothing to be. I'm not condemning you. I didn't say you're a narcissist.
Right.
I said that's narcissistic behavior. That's the grown-up child. I didn't get what I want. Listen, do you know anger is born out of frustration? And typically frustration is born out of not getting what you want. So I'm going to throw a tantrum. That's what babies do. Watch a baby. Baby want the bottle. You don't give them the bottle. What does a baby do? Start kicking and screaming. They fall out. Again, the adult version of that is, let me burn the bridge.
Well, I guess I didn't mean it that way then. It was just trying to use an example, and that's the best way I know how to put it, is because in my whole life, that's pretty much how I spent my life, you know, with people who, okay, well, they can't serve you, or they, you know.
But no, it's in reverse. You have to be of self-service first, and then you attract those who serve and they serve in a free space, in a transactional way. They serve like, wow, you serving yourself at a high level. You're loving on yourself at a high level. You appreciate and approve yourself at a high level. Man, it is easy to flow into serving you without demand. See, we live in the world of bean counters. If I do something for you, you have to do something for me of equal or more value. Does that make sense?
Oh, yes, sir. On the flip side, if I could just bring it back and I'll let you go.
No, I'll let you go, Chris. No, I'm just
on the flip side, that's what I've been able to learn, you know. And like the caller previously said, it does take a lot of time, but you do have to be willing to give yourself that time, you know, before throwing the proverbial tantrum, you know.
Right. No, I agree with you, brother. I agree with you. Hey, Chris, thank you, man. Paso Robles is in the building because of Chris. If you want to bring your city in the building, all you got to do is call me at 1-800-920-1580 I come forward. Shreveport, Louisiana, and Memphis, Tennessee, and others.
Voice of Reason with Sir Williams when we come forward.
This is what y'all need to do. Tell me to turn the volume up before I get the caller on.
This is the name of its owner and CEO, Elon Musk's long envisioned everything app.
Third Eye, you at me? What up? We're at 8130, guys. Can we get to 100? It's 81 people in here. We're at 8130.
Well, he'd like to turn the app into a wide-ranging service, something like China's WeChat, like a peer-to-peer mobile payment platform where users can earn interest on their cash.
Remember, monsters live under bridges. Best to burn it, not let them breed and multiply. We need a stronger one than that. I get it. Monsters live under children's beds. Should you burn the children's bed instead of letting them breed? Like, not a strong analogy. And you're a brilliant guy, so we need. I got that. That's coming up next. Whoever said you can't see, I got that. True monger, man. You already did your work, True.
Tired of being locked out of job opportunities and shut down by systemic racism? KBLA stands with you in fighting for the rights of black workers, and we don't black down. The Los Angeles Black Workers Center is a dynamic alliance of workers, organized labor, community-based organizations, clergy, students, and scholars, working collectively to improve the position of the black working class. The LA Black Workers Center takes a comprehensive approach to addressing the black jobs crisis.
Monsters are magical. Putting it on the floor will not keep the monster from being under the bed. A monster is a supernatural creature, sir. Gosh. Live in 30. Yo, this shit lit. Yo, Andy. Heavy D. Heavy D. I want the heavy D. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, it's okay. It's okay. Andy knows my playlist. Andy, play that record I want, man. Put that record on. We know Stevie Wonder is the greatest. Nobody can really argue Stevie Wonder being the greatest, I don't think. Most consistent artist in history. Even more consistent than Prince. Now, Prince was prolific, but I think Stevie has far more, in my opinion, more hits than Prince. This that record I want to hear, though, by the late, great Heavy D. Yeah! The voice of reason wrapping it up. We got callers from all over the country. Shreveport, Louisiana, Shreveport, Louisiana. We got Boston, Massachusetts in the building. We got Memphis, Tennessee. Listen, callers, let's keep it short. Let's keep it short. I want to get everybody on. So please make your point and allow me to transition to the next caller. We're going to go with the person who's been on the longest. Greg, Memphis, Tennessee, you're on the line. Get at me.
Hey, peace and power, brothers. What's going on?
Oh, man, I'm alive and well. How are you, good sir?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty well myself, bro. Real quick, man, all I was going to say was, I was having a conversation last night with my partner, and coincidentally, we was talking about, seeking out things in relationships. And he was coming from a perspective of, why do I need somebody, this, that, and the third. And it made me think about my own self. I was like, I had relationships when I jump in with people and I see them needing something, and I think, well, maybe I can fulfill the need for them. But that was a blind spot for me come to find out. When I thought about it deeper, I was like, you know what? I've been running for my self-development. So, these conversations you've been having and the topics you've been discussing, once I started diving in deep on that self-development thing, a lot of those things started shifting tremendously.
Man, thanks, man. That means a lot. Thank you, brother. That means a lot, man. Memphis, Tennessee is in the building because of you. Volunteer state represent. Let's go with the longest person on the line on hold. S. Montgomery, Shreveport, Louisiana. Get in here.
Hey, bro.
How are you? Let's get it.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm alive and well in here cooking with the rarest grease. What are your thoughts on tonight's topic?
Well, tonight's topic, I was thinking, just sitting and listening to everyone's input. And I figured out that my blind spots are lack of understanding human nature and self-sacrifice.
Self-sacrifice in what context? Go deeper. I want to make a little room here.
Well, as I was thinking, it was like I would always feel like I have to try to make a situation better, even if it puts myself in a bind.
Oh.
It's like I was willing to sacrifice myself to make someone else's situation better because internally that made me feel good.
Relationship martyr on the Christ side of the game. I see you.
And so where the blind spot comes in is like where I tie in lack of understanding human nature is that not everybody is going to think and feel the way that I think and feel.
Yes.
And provide the same results that, I would expect.
And they're not going to appreciate your sacrifice.
Exactly.
And they might come to depend on it while still not fully appreciating it. Wow.
Right.
That's heavy. S. Montgomery, Shreveport, Louisiana. Thank you for the call. You brought your city in the building. We appreciate it. Our last and final call of the night. Tracy from Boston, Mass. Get in here.
Hey, Phil. How are you?
I'm alive and well. How are you? We're good. What are your thoughts? We're up against the clock, so you got to make it quick.
I know we are, so I got to make it quick. My blind spots, I would say, for me, holding back until I get me straight and not always giving everything that I have just because I know that there are things that I'm currently working on or have been working on. And then also just kind of staying clear, fully out of relationship, not being fully open, having somewhat of a partition. And then when I am in relationship, I take on the emotional load. So I almost turn into such the nurturer that even though it's, the bang bang is what it needs to be, is that overwhelming nurturing role which makes them a little bit more kindly towards me. So those are just a few things.
Heavy stuff. Heavy stuff. I appreciate you, sweetheart. Thank you for calling in to the Voice of Reason tonight. Tracy from Boston, Mass.
Have a great night.
Thank you. You too. We've been all over the country tonight. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Listen, I start the conversation. It's your job to finish it, because tomorrow, I got another heater. I'm ready. I got another heater. But as for tonight, my brother Danny Morrison is about to come in here and keep this fire lit. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Voice of Reason, KBLA. Trust me, we still got a lot to talk about. All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Gotta go. Gotta go. Gotta go. Love y'all. Great show tonight, man. Love y'all. Pieces.